Hello and welcome to It's Tea Time. I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, and joining us to start the show this week is Courtney Simmons from the women's basketball team. And Courtney, y'all have been extended an invitation to the Women's Basketball Invitational, so congratulations to the team, and hopefully y'all can make a good run in that tournament.
Thank you, thank you. It's actually an honor to be able to get into postseason play. A lot of teams at this point are done. But it just shows the strength of the Sun Belt Conference that we actually have 5 teams entering in postseason tournaments. So, you know, it's an honor to be amongst the 5 teams that actually made it.
Now, I know the conference tournament may not have ended quite like y'all wanted. It was a good competitive game against Louisiana Lafayette, but just seems like things just couldn't go y'all's way in that game.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that, you know, necessarily didn't have games that they're accustomed to having. Renita Garrett being one of those key players. You know, she's led us all year. She's been very consistent in the nation in having double-doubles, and she just fell short that night. And, you know, she kind of is the glue that keeps us together. Even though Ashley Beverly Kelly tried her best to, you know, keep us going and keep a fire lit under us, she just couldn't do it by herself. But, you know, it's unfortunate that we lost out in the first round of the tournament. But, you know, again, we have this postseason play to kind of redeem ourselves.
Well, let's talk about it. You're going to face Mercer in the first round. You're going to be at Mercer's gym, which you're familiar with because y'all have played them the past 2 years, one of those games being there. So what do you know about this team? Well,
I mean, it's kind of a way for, like you said, for us to redeem ourselves. In Coach Rigby's first season here at Troy, the score was 91-96. It was a high-scoring game. And then last year we went up, we played them at home the first year, and then last year we drove up there and played at their place, so home and home, and we lost by 5 points, 85-80 or something like that. And so, you know, they have a really good player in Precious. She was the first team mid-major All-American, so, you know, we look to, you know, try to slow her down. But again, we're not really focusing on Mercer. It's just getting back to what we do well: play Trojan basketball, run up and down the floor, you know, get tons of offensive rebounds. We led the conference in rebounding this year. We led them in steals, and we forced a lot of turnovers. So just getting back to what we do and, you know, just trying to make a run in this WBI.
Well, and a lot of times in this tournament situation, you don't have a clue who you're going to be playing until the last minute, and a lot of teams, you'll be scrambling to find out information about this team. Was it a little helpful that you had some familiarity with your opponent?
I mean, it helps a little. It's just like comparing oranges and apples in a sense, because they could easily say the same about us, but again, we're missing Joanna Harden, who scored almost 30 points a game for us last year. We're a completely different team this year than we were last year. So it's the same thing with them. You know, yeah, we know the coaches, we know the staff, we know a few of the players, but they're a completely different team this year than they are last year. I mean, we were literally sitting at Jennifer Graff's house last night, basically just on the computer, just trying to search all the coaches that we knew that could possibly get in to search their Twitter pages. And just to see if they put anything, or if they knew, you know, just to see if we could get any heads up on who we could possibly be playing. And it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock last night when we actually found out. And it was a sigh of relief that we actually did make postseason play. But it was a quick turnaround to say, okay, well, now let's focus on Mercer. Don't worry about what seeding we got, whether it was fair, unfair, whatever we got in. Okay, it was time to put Troy University on the map.
And make a statement. And that game will be 7 o'clock at Mercer. It can be seen on ESPN3, I believe. It can be seen on the internet. Correct. So you can check it out if you can't make it down to Macon, Georgia. But there's a possibility that if things work out and y'all win this game, and I believe the lower seed in the other bracket wins this game, then we could play it here at home. So that would be exciting.
Well, before we even go into the game this weekend, let me just say this. There actually is going to be a fan bus that's going to be going down to Macon. We're going to make sure that it's going to be a charter bus. We're going to provide T-shirts for every student that wants to get on the bus. We'll provide post-game meals. There'll be drinks and soda and stuff on the bus. We just want to get as many fans as we can because obviously they have home court advantage. Any little thing we can get, if we can get a bunch of students to come and paint their bodies and paint their face, we'll make it well worth their while. So we're just trying to focus on getting as many people in the stands at Mercer as possible.
Do you know who they need to contact for that information?
They can contact me, Simmons, C-S-I-M-M-O-N-S, C as in Courtney, at troy.edu, and I can give them all the information they need. We're actually going to be at the SGA meeting tonight to try to invite all the sororities and fraternities and everybody, all the organizations on campus. We're just trying to pack the bus.
All right, well, that's a good idea. I'm sorry I didn't know about that. I'm glad that's happening, and hopefully you can get a good crowd out there and hopefully bring home a W to Troy.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. And welcome back to It's Tea Time, and we're going to talk baseball for the first time this year with the pitching coach for the Trojans, Coach Brad Phillips. And Coach, thanks for being here this week. I know kind of the season has been a little bit of a roller coaster. You started off really well, and then a losing streak, unexpected losing streak of 9 games. But then this last weekend against Georgia Southern, you got 2 very big wins, and it really started on the mound with one of your stars, Grant Bennett, and on Saturday, the second game of the doubleheader.
Right, Grant. He put the team on his back on the game 2 of the doubleheader. Maybe one of the most impressive performances that I've witnessed. It has been a roller coaster. Off to one of the better starts in 4 or 5 years, and then the 9-game losing streak that we really can't come up with an answer.
Right.
It's just one of those things in baseball, and it just kind of snowballed. But it took a great outing from Grant to kind of stop it.
Right.
So, and then Lucas on Sunday continued the momentum coming from the Saturday win, and so, you know, back in the positive mindset there, coming off of a big win, a big series win. Georgia Southern was top of the league after weekend 1. A lot of baseball left, but they were able to, or we were able to, kind of get back on the right side of things and get our first conference win and conference series win, and kind of got us back in the mix right away.
Well, and it really is a long season. You've got a lot of baseball ahead of you, and really maybe still figuring some things out. But you threw Lucas Brown on Sunday. It was his first time to start a game. He's been coming in as a reliever, but as you said, showed a lot of promise. Was that something you were expecting to see out of him, out of the starting role?
No doubt. Coming out of the fall, he was kind of in our Saturday-Sunday mix. He had won one of those positions in our rotation. He'd come back from the holidays with a little tenderness in his arm, so we had to shut him down. So we've kind of gradually been getting him back in the mix, and it was just kind of time for him to get back out in the starting role, give us a good quality start, and that's exactly what he did. We were hoping to get 4 or 5 out of him. He gave us 7. I think the solo home run in the 7th ended an 18-19 inning scoreless streak. So he'd been throwing well. And you know, having that guy on Sunday that just pounds the zone and sinks the baseball and has good tempo is what we need on a weekly basis, much less trying to win our first conference series of the year.
Well, that game from Grant Bennett and then the game from Lucas gave you a lot of innings out of your starters and got to rest the bullpen that had been pitching a lot this past week. Do you think that helped, especially going after having the rest of this week off?
Well, anytime you go into a conference series and you get 16 innings out of 2 starters, and that's taking a chunk out of the 27 innings you got to find. Corey's going to get back on track. He's our Friday night guy that has been very good for us to this point, the freshman. He had a hiccup, which all guys will. So if we can get him back in the mix, and then those 2 guys are giving us quality innings like that, I mean, you can't ask for 9 innings every time. But as good as he's been pitching, Grant, that is, you do expect to get 6, 7, 8 innings out of him, which helps. So quality start and pitching definitely helps. You know, coming off of a week where we had 2 midweek games, and of course we get our rest a little bit this midweek, going into 2 more midweek games next week. So got to get a quality start, you know, every time we go out, and that definitely will help us.
And then this weekend you've got Arkansas Little Rock at home, and they're a team that you look at their schedule and it's kind of been up and down as well. They've had some big losses, but then this weekend they swept Louisiana Lafayette, one of the best teams in the league. So could be a lot of parity in this league this
right,
year.
and they have always been a very talented team. Always one of the most talented teams in the league. When you look back and when we look back and look at a team, that Little Rock team that we've played in the past, we're always thinking there's a lot of talent on the team. Same this year. Last week they got a Friday night win against South Alabama. They ended up losing the series, and then they come back with the rain delays and rain cancellations and swept on Sunday. So Lafayette.
Right.
So there is going to be a lot of parity. You look across the league. Georgia State swept Arkansas State, who, you know, just 3 weeks ago took the series from top 5 team in Louisville. So there's a lot of crazy things on paper that are happening, but it's baseball, and that's what you expect, you know.
And there's a long way to go, and so a lot to look forward to. All right, well, thank you for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, John.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. And now on It's Tea Time, we're going to talk about the men's tennis team that's been on quite the roll with the head coach of that program, and that's Coach Scott Kidd. And Coach, as I said, on quite a roll recently. You've won several in a row, and you've now entered the ranking since the last time we've spoken. You're 58th as of the last ranking, so things have gone pretty well for y'all recently.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get to the point that we've been working hard for. The guys, they had goals again this season. Of course, this is one of them to get ranked, and we've had some tough matches to get here. So, last few weeks going undefeated has really been a big boost of confidence for the group as a team, and Hassan continued to be so impressive as an incoming freshman. Just got named third time as Conference Player of the Week. Wow. So it's been pretty impressive. I think we still have a lot of work to do. We're getting ready. Our long shot is to get ready for conference, and right now we're number one in the conference, and it's like I tell the guys, everybody's after us now. So we have to stay ahead of the group, and staying undefeated and maintaining where we're at right now.
So now you've got the bullseye on your back. You've seen some of your conference competition. Will you see some other ones coming up soon?
Yeah, next week we have Appalachian State coming in. They're new to the conference, and I've never played them in my career of coaching, so it'd be something new for me. So, at this point, we don't underestimate no team. Every match is going to be tough for us, and I think the guys know that. So we're taking every match we're playing the top 20 team in the country. So we want to be serious for every match. We had, a tough one. We lost the doubles point against Kennesaw Sunday, but then rebounded and won, some quick singles matches. So. I think that, as I keep telling you, we're such a young team, but a very talented team. Right. So, we still got a lot more maturing to do on the court. And 2 weeks home, we're going to do a lot of intense training to get the guys ready for, conference coming up in a few weeks.
And I was going to say, you've done so well, and going towards the end of the season, you've got these next 2 weeks at home. That's got to be good to kind of hopefully build some momentum towards the end of the year.
It is. I think when you're on the road so much, it's very tiresome right. for the guys. Missing a lot of class. So being home for the next 2 weeks, I think it's good for the guys. We get to get to be. Have a lot more practice, because when you're traveling a lot, you don't get to practice as much. So that's one of the positive things about it. And then, we're doing a lot of individual work this week with the guys and next week, and hosting 2 tournaments home next weekend. So I think it's a good thing to be home, and the guys like to have their friends and stuff come out and support them. So a lot of people haven't got to see the guys perform this year, but the next 2 weeks, we'll hopefully have a big crowd out to watch us and support us in the home matches.
Right, it's a great opportunity for fans. The next 2 weekends, you'll be at home. Do you know times yet for those matches?
Yes, Friday we play Xavier out of New Orleans. We play them at 3. We play Alcorn State at 11 a.m. on Saturday, and then Columbus State, their top 10 Division II, on Sunday at 10 a.m.
All right.
Then next weekend, we haven't got the times posted, but we have UNO, Appalachian State, and South Carolina State coming in for that tournament.
But you can always check the website for those times. Exactly. And when to check out the Trojans. So good luck, and hopefully you'll have a big turnout.
Thank you so much.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. And our final look on It's Tea Time is going to be about the men's golf team with the head coach of that program, and that's Coach Matt Terry. And Coach, y'all had a busy week last week. You played back-to-back tournaments up at Auburn and then down in Tallahassee at Florida State, and really played well up at Auburn, if you want to elaborate on that one.
We did. It was a good showing by the whole team up there. We went up, played well, had our chance to win exactly what you want to do. We were 10 shots behind Auburn going into the final day in second place, and we didn't get off to a great start. A lot of pars where we'd been making a lot of birdies early, and they played extremely well early, and that kind of put us away before we could really get started. By the turn, the tournament was pretty much over with. Right. And but it was good. Finishing second, beat South Alabama and Georgia State. They finished right behind us. It's always good to beat our conference schools and everything. But they were disappointed. The guys were disappointed. We wanted a piece of Auburn, and there's a reason they're in top 10 team in the country. After that week, they moved in the rankings pretty good, and they're a very good squad.
Well, and then you went down to Florida State, and probably one of the toughest fields you're going to see all year. And you played well, but it was a tough field. I mean, not much you could do.
It's more or less that field. You're looking at 17 teams there, 10 of which are 10 or 11, 12 of them probably going to regionals.
Right.
And it was very top heavy. Florida State, the number 1 team in America. There, Georgia Tech, South Florida, South Carolina, a lot of good teams. The guys had an opportunity. We didn't play bad. It was almost like we were a little flat. I don't know if we might have been a little deflated from the Auburn, tournament, being in that final group. A little tired maybe mentally. I asked all the guys that. before the final round at Florida State, and they all said, no, we feel great, and that's a credit to them. They're never going to admit anything, and we make a birdie or two here or there, we finish better at Florida State, but it wasn't an awful week. We end up going to probably gain about 5 to 6 spots in the rankings total. We gained a bunch at Auburn. We're probably going to lose a little bit from Florida State, but it bodes well for the year because the guys got to see it. We got to play with Virginia, who's a top 25 team, Florida, South Florida down there. So they got a little taste of that, of what they're going to hopefully see in postseason.
That's exactly right. And then you go up to Furman, not this week, but the following week, and a tournament that you didn't play last year, but have played in years past, and it's a good tournament up there as well.
It is. It's a course the guys really like a lot. It's their campus course. A lot of fun to play it. A lot of birdies can be had. Very aggressive players course, and we were in the final group 2 years ago. The seniors this year wanted to go back, so that's exactly what we're doing. Going back, hopefully get some mojo going. There's a few teams up there. We get to see Georgia State again, which is always nice to see them, a few weeks before we see them at conference. So just excited to get back, get the guys going again. We'll leave next Wednesday and take all 7 guys that are traveling right now up there. A couple of guys will play as individuals, so everybody will get some work this next week, which is always nice.
And is there anything specific you're looking for out of these guys as you wind down towards the conference championships?
Not really. They just, they just got to keep working because, they've got a summer schedule to play as well.
Right.
It just doesn't end with what we do here at Troy. Those guys play all summer, unlike some other sports. I know baseball, they're going to go to the Cape Cod League, different things like that, and play baseball during the summer. Our guys do the same thing. They go out and out of their own pocket, playing a lot of events all over the country to continue to try to get better. So when they come back in the fall, they're that much better for us at Troy. And we just got to keep progressing, keep doing our day-to-day routine here at Troy, and keep working. The guys are out at our facility right now practicing and getting themselves, hopefully ready for next week. Going to give them the weekend off to themselves. They won't take it off. They'll be practicing anyway. But I wanted to give them the option if they hadn't been home in a while to see some people before our stretch run happens and before the grind gets going.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck at Furman.
Thank you so much.
All right, join us again next week for more on It's Tea Time.